Hi, my name is Harvy Santos and I'm a milliner and I'm based here in London. A milliner is particularly geared towards ladies' hats, whereas if you make men's hats, you're called a hatter. Millinery, the word comes from Milan, have evolved. It turned into millinery. Coming from my background as a ballet dancer back in Hong Kong, I thought as part of my ballet career retirement, I'll start working as a costume designer or work in the costume department of theaters. And the beauty of moving to London is that there's lots of theater here and I could find a job. One day I was shopping for materials for my costume for a Halloween party, and I found a magazine called the Hat Magazine. And that's the start of it. There was the whole hat industry that I didn't know about. And then I liked the idea of making hats because one, it is quite niche. Making garments takes lots of days. The hats could take a slightly shorter amount of time, depending on the design. So that really got me attracted to it. Plus also it's this thing on your head that's just speaking to everyone all the time is what attracted me to that kind of culture. The UK also has a hat culture that I didn't know about before I moved here. So it's all very exciting to me to find out about this world and the industry and the business. I started that as a hobby, sort of like a workshop, and then suddenly I entered in competition, hat designing competition, and then one thing led to another. I won this hat design competition, and the prize was a stand in Premier Class, which is an accessory trade show in Paris. That kind of pushed me to launch a label. At first, I thought it was an exhibition and somewhere you just show hats, but this involved having buyers buy hats from you and sell them in their department stores. So I kind of jumped into the deep end of that pool. It wasn't really that hard because here in the UK there's lots of tuitions or like workshops that you can attend to. So I started with that, and then eventually I craved for more. In that workshop I was promised to come back home with 3 hats, and I came back with 4, and then after a month I had 60 hats on my table, and I said to myself, what am I going to do with all of these? So at some point it did occur to me that it's going to be a business if I can make those hats, and there's a market with it. I knew that there is something more. There is the business side to the hat making, and there's the design development that I needed to learn. So I went back to college, made me think differently and broaden my horizons to the business and the industry, immersing myself in that community. Yes, it was very hard because one, I was a ballet dancer. I didn't know what I was doing in business. But one advice that was given to me is that be honest and ask lots of questions, which I did, and it's different dealing with buyers, especially foreign buyers. I was lucky enough to be propelled in the international market by getting into Premier Class, because it's very hard to get into Premier Class, the trade show. That I was lucky with, and I stuck with it, and I continued learning from my mistakes or the things that I didn't know. People are there to help. So that was very, very good. I set up myself as a small business because I also want to free myself to doing work for other people, like freelance job. And that's how I got into making hats for movies and not just focusing on my own label. In fact, doing freelance work and working for others. help me harness my small business, because all the income that I get from the freelances, I've put into my own business. It was hard work because I was contracted to work there for a year. So I offered my services as a maker, not as a designer. And we made lots of hats designed by the costume designer, Paul Taswell, who just won a BAFTA award. Yeah, basically, we're there as milliners who would be creating and manufacturing the hats that's going to be used for the movie. I was tasked to do a lot of the military hats for the men, and also it involves lots of hats. There's hundreds and hundreds of them, so we shared all the tasks between us. We worked as a production team. I love millinery because it's something so small yet so bold, and it's an ever evolving form of art. There are several types of hats. There are hats that you could wear casually, like baseball caps and bucket hats. And then there are hats that you would wear for formal occasions, like royal ascots or any types of races. Here in the UK, there are weddings, especially the mother of the bride is tasked to wearing a hat. All of those is sort of like an expensive to mid-range. And then you get the high end of the hats, where you see the hats that you see in couture shows during fashion shows to wear in the parties or soirees that they go to. So there's sort of like 3 levels to it, and sometimes clients can come up to you and say, I'd like a hat, but I want it made out of gold, or I want it made out of the most expensive fabric ever. So all of that adds up. I do hope that I get to collaborate with designers doing runway shows. I've always wanted to do that on my own label. I still do, working for other milliners who collaborate with other designers. Sometimes they would need some help, and working under them and creating their own designs for the runway shows. It's always really very exhilarating. And I envision for 10 years is a more established labels with lots of buyers, of course, and lots of businesses, and yes, and hopefully a collaboration with a big fashion house, and there's lots of them, so we shall see. Always be brave and positive, and there's always a child in my heart. There's always a child in me that just is fearless.